The desert never spoke unless it wanted to warn you. Ethan Cole had learned that lesson young, riding beside his father. Across the scorched plains of the American West, silence meant safety, sound meant trouble. And tonight, just before sunset, the desert had gone too quiet. His horse slowed on its own, ears twitching. Ethan tightened the reins. A lone rancher by choice and by scarred experience, Ethan lived in a small, wooden cottage tucked between stone ridges and dying cottonwoods. No town, no family, just horses, dust, and the memories he couldn't outrun. That's when he heard it. "Don't look there." The voice barely carried over the wind. Ethan turned sharply, heart thudding. A woman stood near the rocky slope, her figure half silhouetted by the dying sun. Her dress was torn at the hem, dust clinging to her skin. Dark hair whipped across her face as if the desert itself was trying to hide her. "Ma'am?" Ethan called. She raised her hand, trembling. "Please, if you value your life, don't look." But instinct betrayed him. His eyes followed her gaze. And then, time stopped. 3 bodies lay twisted near a dry ravine, one face smashed beyond recognition, another bent backward at an impossible angle, blood soaked into the sand so deeply it looked permanent. Ethan staggered. He recognized one of them. Cal Mercer, Black Rock Gang, ruthless, predatory, unforgiving. "You saw," the woman whispered. "I begged you not to." Ethan swallowed hard. "What happened here?" She shook her head, tears carving clean lines through the dust on her cheeks. "They came to my cottage, said the land wasn't mine anymore. Said I wasn't either." Her voice broke. Ethan's jaw tightened. He'd heard stories like this too many times. The West was cruel, and it fed on the unprotected. Before he could respond, hooves thundered in the distance. The woman's face drained of color. "They're coming back." Gunshots cracked the air. Ethan didn't think. He acted. "Get on," he ordered, pulling her onto his horse. They rode. Bullets tore through dust clouds. One struck a rock inches from Ethan's leg. The woman clung to him, breath ragged, fear shaking her entire body. They reached Ethan's isolated cottage just as night swallowed the land. Inside, lantern light flickered over worn wood and old scars. Her name was Clara Mayfield. She lived alone since her father died, guarding land that everyone wanted and no one respected. "I didn't plan to kill them," she said, staring at her hands. "I only wanted them to leave." Ethan sat silently. Outside, shadows moved. The Black Rock Gang would not let this go. And Ethan knew by letting himself look, his quiet life was over. Dawn came red. Too red. Ethan saddled 2 horses without a word. Clara stepped out of the cottage, dressed for travel, eyes sharper than before. "They'll hunt me," she said. "They'll hunt us," Ethan replied. They rode toward open ground, where lies couldn't hide, and cowards had nowhere to run. By noon, the Black Rock Gang appeared like a dark stain on the horizon. "6 men," one leader, Harlan Black. He smiled when he saw Ethan. "You should have kept riding, rancher." The fight came fast. Gunfire echoed. Horses screamed. Sand exploded under boots. Ethan moved like a man already dead, fearless, precise. He shot 2 men before they knew the fight had begun. Clara dragged a wounded horse to cover, blood on her hands, eyes burning with survival. Harlan charged Ethan. Knife, fists, rage. They slammed into the dirt, rolling, choking, bleeding. Harlan laughed even as Ethan broke his nose. "This land eats people like you," Harlan snarled. Ethan answered with his fist. When it ended, the desert was quiet again. Only Ethan and Clara stood breathing. Back at the cottage, wounds cleaned, silence settled heavy. Clara touched Ethan's hand. "You didn't have to stay." "I know," he said. "I wanted to." Love didn't arrive gently. It arrived like the desert itself, earned, tested, and unforgiving. Weeks later, flowers bloomed where blood once soaked the sand. The cottage became a home, and the West whispered a different story. The desert never truly sleeps. It only waits, even weeks after the blood had dried and the Black Rock Gang lay buried beneath shifting sand. Ethan Cole still woke before dawn, hand reaching for his gun, heart racing as if danger stood just beyond the door. Clara noticed. She noticed everything now. "You're still listening for them," she said softly one morning as pale light crept through the cottage window. Ethan didn't answer right away. He stepped outside, scanning the horizon. The land looked peaceful, too peaceful. Horses grazed quietly. Wind brushed the tall grass. But peace in the West was often a lie. "They don't always come back with guns," Ethan finally said. "Sometimes they come with secrets." Clara's fingers tightened around her coffee cup. She had secrets, and the desert knew them. The shadow from the past. That afternoon, a rider appeared. Alone, slow. Ethan reached for his rifle before the man even spoke. "I ain't here to fight," the stranger called out, stopping at a distance. He was older, his face carved by years of regret. A former lawman, Ethan recognized the posture immediately. "My name's Thomas Hale," the man said. "I tracked Black Rock for months. You finished what I couldn't." Clara stiffened. Hale's eyes shifted to her. "And you," he added quietly, "are the reason they came out this far." The air thickened. Ethan turned sharply. "What's he talking about?" Clara's breath caught. Before she could answer, Hale spoke again, slow, careful, like a man placing a knife on the table. "Your father didn't just own land," he said. "He found something under it." Silence crushed the moment. Clara's face went pale. Ethan stared at her. "Clara?" Tears welled in her eyes. "There's a mine," she whispered. "Silver, rich enough to start a war." The desert wind howled, as if furious the truth had been spoken aloud. Love under threat. That night, Clara finally told Ethan. Everything. Her father had discovered the mine years ago. Instead of selling it, he hid it, knowing men like Black Rock would kill for it. After his death, the secret passed to her. "They weren't just trying to take my land," she said, voice shaking. "They wanted what was buried beneath it." Ethan paced the cabin, fists clenched. "This doesn't end with Black Rock," he said. "It never does." Clara stepped closer, resting her forehead against his chest. "I didn't tell you because I was afraid you'd leave." Ethan froze. Then he wrapped his arms around her. "I stayed when bullets were flying," he said. "I'm not leaving because of the truth." Outside, the moon rose high, bright enough to reveal movement far beyond the hills. Eyes watching, waiting. The desert strikes back. 2 nights later, the desert answered. Gunfire shattered the silence. Ethan burst from the cottage as flames licked the edge of the corral. Horses screamed. Shadows moved fast, too fast. This wasn't a gang. It was something organized, professional. Ethan fired, dropping one attacker, but more followed. Clara grabbed a rifle, heart pounding, courage overriding fear. They fought back to back, dust and fire mixing with rage and desperation. One attacker shouted, "Find the mine!" That was when Ethan knew the secret was already spreading. By dawn, the attackers were gone, leaving behind one wounded man crawling through the sand. Ethan knelt beside him. "Who sent you?" he demanded. The man laughed weakly. "Everyone." Then he died. But the choice. Smoke drifted into the morning sky. The cottage stood, damaged but unbroken. So were they. Clara looked at the land she loved, eyes filled with sorrow. "I never wanted this," she said. Ethan took her hand. "The desert doesn't care what we want," he replied. "Only what we're willing to fight for." She searched his face. "And you?" He met her gaze without hesitation. "I'll fight the whole damn West if I have to." For the first time since her father's death, Clara smiled, small, fierce, unafraid. They stood together as the sun climbed higher. But far away, riders were already moving. The desert had revealed its secret. And now, it demanded a final price.